I do and do not remember when the 2018 Spider-Man game for PS4 came out. Because of that amnesia I explained that I had early in my Into the Spider-Verse review. But acknowledging that there is a 5-year gap between these two games, and this spin-off that I should have streamed before the sequel came out, that can make anyone feel some degrees old. But anyway, the story of Insomniac's and Marvel Spider-Man 2 on PS5 is told as an inspired adaptation combining Kraven's Last Hunt with the aftermath of Secret Wars, where Spider-Man got the black suit that eventually became Venom. In lead up to that, this sequel has been built up from what was set up in the previous games, with a status quo where both Peter Parker and Miles Morales are coexisting Spider-Men operating in New York, which actually ends up creating some unintentionally funny situations.
When you're out, find Spider-Man.
Where is Spider-Man? The bare minimum that we get is that the game's subtitles refer to Peter as Spider-Man red white emoji and Miles as Spider-Man red black emoji. The game's plot kicks itself off when Kraven the Hunter, in knowing that he is dying, decides to come to New York in search of a perfect death, either in the hands of Spider-Man or his enemies. Meanwhile, working with Miles in fighting Sandman as Spider-Man got Peter fired from his job as a teacher on his first day, which leads to the introduction of Harry Osborn, who was away sick in the previous game, and welcomes Peter into working with him in his new Emily May Foundation, named after Harry's own dead mother and Aunt May who died in the previous game. And the cure to Harry's sickness is the Venom symbiote, by the way, meaning that this game cut out Eddie Brock entirely and decided to do what the in-name only Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon did. AKA make Harry Osborn become Venom after Peter gets to wear the black suit, and the game had him be like this for a while.
Shocker! You can't escape me! I'll chase you to the ends of the earth!
While that is happening, Peter and Miles are also busy tracking down Kraven, who released Scorpion and Mr. Negative out of a prisoner transfer, just to hunt the former and force the latter into gladiator fights. Also, Dr. Kurt Connors is forced to be turned into the Lizard by Kraven, and while looking for the antidote that can turn him back into a human, the black-suited Spider-Man finds Kraven's diary and learns that his family eats shit. It's time to pray. My mother opened every hunt with these words. Others spent the nights feasting, drinking themselves into oblivion. Not us. Not the Kravenovs. To us, the hunt was sacred. A duty from a higher power. Predators force the weak to grow strong. We shape the world, she would say. Gathered in the candlelight of our chapel, we shared bites of... For fun, FYI, paska is Finnish for shit. So, they shared bites of shit in a Finnish person would read it as that. And Mary Jane has about 3 stealth missions like she had in the first game, except now she has a gun and can sneak up on hunters, trained by Kraven, who should be able to hear her coming. And also this death girl named Hailey, who probably has stretch powers too, because that is the only way I can believe her to have been able to spray paint this high above her height on the wall. With the same spray paint can that seems to switch colors when shaken, and she doesn't need to have any stencils like how it was done in infamous Second Son 9 years ago. That is all I'm going to spoil about the plot of this game, for now. So let's use that to segue us into talking about the gameplay next. The web swinging and the stealth sections from the previous titles make a return with some added extra tweaks to the swinging physics, but also by going away with those 6 waves of enemies that padded the enemy bases too long in the first game. The combat also now includes a parrying mechanic, and the power of PS5 now includes the traversal mechanic of riding a bike. Then there is this new added feature where Spider-Man's costumes are added with armpit webs that turn their suits into gliding suits that make it easier getting around the New York map, which has been expanded to have queens and whatever this lower part below is called, with Coney Island at the bottom of it. I remember that location better because there was this whole story mission in there, with a calm before storm downtime chilling as Peter Parker with Harry and Mary Jane, before Kraven's hunters attack there to capture the reformed Tombstone who is working there. That is also where we, or just Miles, are introduced to the reformed Mysterian who sets up Miles, and only Miles while excluding Peter.
Oh, a Mysterian. Good looking out, Pete.
Defeat up for gauntlets that need to be done under required time limits and demands. Then I should probably say something about the different costumes and repeat myself from my abridged recap review on the first game, how I never liked the default costume made for this game, and always changed into the other suits whenever I had the chance. It actually says a lot that every time I did have Peter wear that costume, something bad ended up happening to him, like getting fired,
You're fired.
stabbed, and he also died wearing it.
Pete, come on, this is nothing. Remember in 5th grade when you... No. No,
Damn,
you gotta stay awake, buddy.
he actually killed him.
No!
And that is pretty much how Peter gets the black suit, which, as I said, was originally keeping Harry's disease from claiming him, so when Peter refused to give it back to him after his Bully Maguire episode...
You're not yourself. That suit is changing you.
This suit is the only reason I'm still alive.
Yeah, it's pretty great, isn't it?
Why don't you pop some more pills and say what you really feel?
Hey, don't.
I'm busting my ass out there trying to save you, and this is what I get?
I said don't.
I saw your story.
I tried to tell you about that.
Yeah, but you didn't, did you?
I can't lose this job.
Your job is to write the truth.
I did.
The truth is, I'm the hero here, not you.
Yeah. Every adaptation with Venom story, it always has a scene like this. Angers Harry into taking it by force and so become Venom. Venom then goes on a rampage and euthanizes Kraven in taking over the role of the game's main antagonist. But based on how Spider-Man's previous encounter with Kraven went while wearing the black suit... harder. That might have been what he wanted to happen. I'm not going to spoil what happens in the rest of the game, outside of that it pretty much turns into Web of Shadows, but I also want to mention that in one side quest we run into Peter's ex-wife Yuri, who is hunting down Cletus Cassidy so he wouldn't become Carnage. In trying to become Carnage, Cletus has taken up to lead a cult of arsonists in trying to use them, as well as Spider-Man and Yuri hunting for him, to get the Carnage symbiote. I'm spoiling this part mostly because I want to use it as an example of how the characterization of J. Jonah Jameson has been thrown under the bus. In the first game, his Just the Facts podcast was justifiably okay in criticizing Spider-Man's flaws. But then came the City That Never Sleeps DLC, and JJJ was made to be so against Spider-Man that he started to lie about the events involving him.
As you've probably heard, Spider-Man stopped the crime boss Hammerhead's thugs from robbing the Museum of Contemporary Art. Good for him, right? Wrong! They nearly demolished the place and everything in it! They
Yes,
were shooting
that is what
rocket
they
launchers
were
in
doing.
Doors! To assume good intentions, which I do not. This is the problem with Spider-Man. He escalates every situation into an apocalyptic...
Why
disaster.
has J. Jonah Jameson been turned into this game?
Blow it up! Now, I realize
J. Jonah Jameson was better than this. Let's take a moment of silence to commemorate
that's trashing our public
that J.
spaces.
Jonah Jameson actually who used to have journalistic integrity and didn't just decide to blame Spider-Man because it's convenient to blame Spider-Man for this thing.
Another piece of priceless New York architecture destroyed by none other than Spider-Man, the Webbed Wonder. Was the Harlem Sanitarium in the best condition? No. Did the doctors there at one point commit horrible atrocities against their patients? Probably. Does that mean we should let spandex-suited vigilantes swing willy-nilly through a piece of our history? I think not. It is our duty, nay, our responsibility to maintain these shameful monuments to our past, because that's the America that I call home. Like I said to my doctor when she recently told me to calm down, I won't.
And this is how Jameson tried to defend Carnage's arsonist cultist just so his narrative about Spider-Man wouldn't be disturbed.
Allow me to set the stage. A train line in Brooklyn. Presumably, precious containers carrying commodities that we rely on. Spider-Man. And that new vigilante. Oh, did I just spoil the play? Can you see where this is going? I feel sorry for anyone awaiting a shipment today. It's not coming. You know who to thank. Explosions rocked the line. Trains were derailed, almost colliding with an apartment complex. A local community group was injured. The followers of the flame, I'm not here to judge, were mercilessly attacked by Spider-Man. From the rumblings I've heard, there's a new commando in Spider-Man's army. They go by Rain. Now, I can't say for certain what the inciting incident was, but I find it hard to believe these followers were there to cause harm. More than likely, they were having a peaceful ceremony. Perhaps they could have chosen a different location, but who is Spider-Man to come in and break it up? He's infringing on our rights and destroying commerce in the process, folks. We need to keep redrawing the line, because the Spider-Man and company keep stepping over it.
Yeah, he was doing so good. He was doing so good. And now he decided to go frame Carnage's followers as peaceful protesters. Those people are arsonists who brand victims who refuse to follow them. They are not peaceful protesters. Yeah, he was doing so well. So well.
You lied to me. Okay. I can't have someone who works for me coloring the truth and leaving out facts. It's against everything I stand for. Coloring the truth and leaving out facts. It's against everything I stand for.
Coloring the truth and leaving out facts. It's against everything I stand for.
Coloring the truth and leaving out facts. It's against everything I stand for.
Come on, you hate Spider-Man. Both of us do. JJ, I did it for you.
You did this for yourself, Brock. Get me security. I've got some trash they can throw out.
And everything else I'm going to save up for an upcoming discussion I will be having with Teladia Plays here on my channel. This will be including side quests, gameplay aspects and spoilers I did not bring up here. I will link this discussion to the description when it has happened and then consider myself done with this game for now, especially when I have also managed to platinum it. Someday in the future, maybe when the sequel with 3 on it is coming out, I can see myself playing it again and use the streaming footage to create a sequel to that average recap review I did on the first game. Now I have other video scripts to finish so I can get into editing them. Feel free to like this video for what I said about Marvel Spider-Man 2. Comment what you think about it if you own a PS5 and have played it, or if you looked up how the story went on other people's streams on it. Share this video for more people to see, and stand by for that discussion I will be having with Teladia. Subscribe for those other videos I will be having coming out soon, and ding the bell to be alerted for when I will be doing gameplay streams. May your heart be your guiding key.